Hi, and welcome to another edition of Tolland County Economy. I'm Drew Crandall, your host. Thanks for watching. As our TV show enters its 10th season, we're doing something unusual. Instead of taping the show in the Community Voice Channel studio, we're taping on location at the Hockenham Mill on West Main Street in Rockville. Why? Because the Hockenham Mill is celebrating its 200th anniversary in 2014, and some very exciting things are happening here. To give you some background, this mill was constructed in 1814. Called the Bingham and Nash Mill, it was one of the earliest mills in Rockville to produce satinet, a type of cloth made with cotton warp and woolen filling. The mill was gradually expanded until a great fire destroyed it in 1854. It was rebuilt, but the satinet industry began to decline. George Maxwell, who spearheaded the creation of Rockville Public Library, took over as president of the mill and converted it to produce a higher quality cloth that was suitable for menswear. The quality of the cloth was so high quality that during his inauguration, President William McKinley wore a suit that was made of it. The mill became profitable again and employed about 100 workers. In 1906, the mill merged with 3 other mills in Rockville to form the Hockenham Mills Company. The company was sold to M.T. Stevens and Company in 1934. During World War II, it made cloth for military uniforms. The mill shut down in 1951, and over the past 63 years, it has been either empty or used for other commercial and industrial purposes, which leads me to today. Last year, a local entrepreneur, Ken Kaplan, formed a company to purchase the Hockenham Mill and transform it. Ken is with me today to share the vision and the journey. Ken, thanks for being on the show and having us on site today.
Thanks, Drew. Glad you guys are here.
You bet. Well, we've known you from Kaplan Computers for years. We've had you on the show before. But I have to ask, you're a busy entrepreneur already. Why and what happened to even think about the possibility of transforming this historic mill?
Well, I've been looking for a site for our business to house our tech center and also my other businesses that I own, and but for a long time. And I went to the town of Vernon. I had a contract to purchase a building, and I went in and spoke to Sean Gately and to find out what they had for tax abatements or different programs for new businesses moving to town. And he said, well, before you buy that building, I want to show you some really interesting properties that we have that we want to redevelop. So we took a field trip, spent half a day with Sean driving around to 7 different sites. And as soon as I came to this site, I used to live in Rockville, about a mile up the road from here. When I came onto the site, something touched me, something intrigued me, and I was like, wow, this is a really amazing spot. It's 11 acres, the topography, the river, the beautiful little white house out in the front, the different architectures. I'm a real fan of architecture, especially post and beam, and I love brick and post and beam and concrete, and all those elements really intrigued me. And when I pulled in, I felt like I was pulling into an abandoned city. I mean, you couldn't drive through here without trees that had overgrown. Some of the buildings, you couldn't even see them. They were just basically trees had grown up so much. The west side of Building 4, I didn't even know it was there until we were able to walk through the jungle. But it was something spoke to me and told me that this was the spot. Similar to the other project I did, the 50-acre project up in Tolland, where I created like a 50-acre basically park up there. And I knew when I set foot there that was right. And the same thing with this. It kind of I had a little inner voice said, you can do this.
Well, right behind us, our viewers can see through the window, is a big part of the mill. It's like a 4-story structure there, a 5-story. How many square feet is this whole complex?
It's over 150,000 square feet on 11 acres with, now there's 10 buildings. There were 12. The town had condemned a couple of them, so the first order of business was demolishing those condemned buildings. We salvaged as much building material, brick, post, and beam. We carefully dismantled them and saved any historic elements that we could.
Wow. So when did this start? When did you take that drive-through with Sean?
About 2 years ago. And it was in March a couple years ago, so coming up on 2 years. And it was a long journey, and everybody on my core team, I think, was becoming frustrated because it took about 15 months to actually close on the place, and we thought we had it closed at 6 months, and the previous owner pulled the carpet out. So there was a lot of pent-up enthusiasm to get going. And when the day we got the keys to this place, we rolled in here like a SWAT team. We had 2 big RVs. I own a construction company, so we bought in 3 Bobcats, 2 tractors, bulldozer, backhoe loader, mini excavator, 2 dump trucks, and a bunch of chainsaws, and probably like 47 motorized devices designed for doing this type of project. And we stayed here for 11 days straight. I even bought a diesel light tower down, and actually the police came we started at 5 o'clock in the morning one day, and they're like, Ken, we're really enthusiastic about what you're doing here, and we're backing you up, but the neighbors are complaining. You gotta wait till 7 to start. I was so excited that many nights we worked until 12, 1, 2 o'clock. We ran 2 shifts here. I have an amazing amount of energy, and there were very few. There was only a couple guys that could hang with me the whole 2 shifts, but I went through basically 2 shifts. We had 27 people the first day that we showed up here, and we.
So, you know, we've all seen historic structures being renovated in Connecticut. We have tons of old structures. Someone might ask you, hey Ken, you're a computer guy, you're a tech guy. What do you know about renovating historic mills? Do you really know what you're doing? How would you respond to a question like that?
Well, I've owned my business for 25 years, the computer company, and I never judge a person by their education, because I get a lot of young guys and gals and people of all different backgrounds that come into Kaplan Computers, and it's the ones that are passionate about the hobby of computers, the ones that study it and really jump into it, that are, just because you have a piece of paper that says you have a master's degree or a bachelor's doesn't mean you're good at what you do. It's sad to say, but true. And although I don't have a degree in architecture or a degree in development, I've studied this. I've read all the books that I could get out of the library. I'm a fan of, I've driven cross country studying architecture and barns and post and beam architecture. I've done a 50-acre estate type development I've done an acre of pavers. I'm certified by the Interlocking Concrete Pavers Institute as a paver installation. I bought a company recently, a franchise called Concrete Technologies Incorporated, and I've been to the schooling for the concrete resurfacing. So I don't have a degree in it, but this has been my passion since I was a little kid.
Plus it's not all about you. I mean, you've assembled quite a team here.
Yeah, let's talk about the team. That's really one thing I learned early on at Kaplan Computers is I'm one person. I need to I only hire people that are smarter than me at the discipline that I'm looking to have, the position I'm looking to be filled. And that's not too hard to do usually, but I found that if you hire the best people, it makes me look good, it makes the job, the clients are happy.
And you can't do this alone.
No.
You need a bunch of people who know what they're doing.
I was fortunate that Peter Lofstrom from LCI Construction, him and his brother had worked together for almost 40 years. He restored the Adams Mill. He's done a bunch of major developments in the area. He's done probably 40 projects like this. He was available, and he came on board to be our project manager. So, you know, as far as my heavy equipment operators, I've got awesome heavy equipment operators. My painters, Ron Apt has been a painter for 40 years. The guy's like a Michelangelo with a paintbrush. I've had other people try to paint stuff here, and when I saw the product, I was like, I don't want anybody touching that paintbrush unless Ron's with them, you know? So, and as far as the design of the artwork, I hired Miss Ashley Kay, if you can pan over to her. She's in charge of the picking out all the colors and palettes and designing the murals. Matter of fact, she's in the process of painting the orange for the Harley bathroom, because this building is going to be a motorcycle shop. So her and Ron are working together to make the inside of this furniture quality on the paint job, and definitely when you see the murals that are going to be on the walls here, when you come back, it's going to be amazing.
Well, speaking of painting, that's a good segue. Paint me a picture of what your vision for this whole complex is, beginning in the building that we're in, and just walk us through what you have in mind.
This building here is going to be the main showroom. This is going to be where restored motorcycles and modern race motorcycles are going to be. It's going to be mostly a spin on racing motorcycles in this particular room. This is going to be the showroom, the sales desks. When you walk across the bridge here, you're going to go into a building that is a football field long, that our architect has figured out is capable of holding 1,200 motorcycles weight-wise, but space-wise 600 motorcycles. And when you walk in, there'll be 8 stations where we'll be doing full frame-off restorations And ultimately, I have a bunch of friends, and I've been in the motorcycle industry since I was a kid, literally, and I have probably 5 times more connections in that industry than I do in the computer industry, even though that's my avocation. So some of my friends that are collectors are going to bring small collections over, and it's going to be like a destination place where people go to just to look at unique motorcycles and modern race motorcycles.
Almost like a motorcycle museum.
Yes.
In addition to selling and repairing.
Yes. That would be a buy-sell trade. We're gonna do full restorations. We're gonna sell parts like they would at a local bike shop, tire changing. We have a race team. We're going to be sponsoring 4 local riders. So they're going to be out, flying the colors of our team.
So this will be motorcycles. What about the building behind me?
The building. Before we talk about that one, this building. This building's 4,000 square foot, and there's a 10,000 square foot third floor, and the upper level is 10,000, so it's going to be a 24,000 square foot motorcycle restoration. And we're going to have an eBay component. We're a power seller on eBay, so the 10,000 square foot top floor is going to be an office with 3 eBay people are just selling motorcycle parts. So we'll be doing eBay. We'll talk more about that later, but that 24,000 square foot is dedicated to the motorcycle business. The first level and the second level are a total of 25,000 square foot, including the steel building that's being reconstructed on the back and the brick building in the front. That is going to be for the computer business. Kaplan Computers is going to have a tech center here on the first and second floor. We'll do projects for large companies. And that white building in the front is going to be my office and our conference center, and then there'll be offices upstairs, so our conference room. So that takes us through roughly 50,000 square foot, or a third of the complex. The building behind us, this is one of the first poured in place concrete buildings ever constructed. It was in 1902. And it's 4 stories. Each floor it's amazing. It's 10,000 square foot with windows all the way around, so there's a lot of natural light. I mean, you got to figure this was built before the car existed, so the automobile. And they used as much natural light and windows for cooling, HVAC.
Unlike manufacturing today, oftentimes it's just one big
steel buildings with no windows. It's like going to Vegas when you go in those. But here you'll be plugged in. You actually need glasses in the building, and sometimes there's so much natural light. But that's going to be an amazing building right over there.
And what will be in there? What's your vision?
In the first floor, we're going to have industrial condos. There's 10,000 square foot, probably 2 or 3. And I'm hopeful that the computer and motorcycle businesses expand, and ultimately my businesses will be in that building. The construction company, Rockville Construction, will also be taking some space here too, because we have a lot of heavy equipment. It's all going to be stored here, and the concrete resurfacing company is going to be based out of here. We're going to have a showroom here. Where we'll have samples of the different types of concrete. Matter of fact, this whole project is going to be a showroom for the concrete company. The floors that are in this room, we're doing last because we don't want the artist painting to get on it, or them have to worry about drop cloths. This floor is going to be stunning, and there'll be the concrete technology company has probably 20 different type of. You can make concrete look like granite, brick, terrazzo, tile. It's an amazing product. So you make it look like wood. So we're going to have samples of that everywhere in a showroom, so we can walk prospective clients through and say, this is the work Rockville Construction can do for you. I already have 3 jobs lined up, and we're telling them we can't do your job until we're done with this one. So
excellent. So as you go further west in the complex, what do you have in mind for the rest of it?
Well, there is Environmental Integrity Company is still a tenant here. They're renting 10,000 square feet. They want to expand.
Innovative Environmental?
Innovative.
We've had Frank on the show.
So the big brick building at the end of the complex, a 3-story one. Our goal with that is we're into mixed martial arts. My son's a black belt. My daughter's trained. I train in martial arts, and we're really into health and exercise, working out. So we already have all the gym equipment. We bought quite a bit of gym equipment, a couple of tractor trailer loads from fitness centers that were closing. And the second floor is going to be a full gym, and the third floor is going to be an MMA dojo, martial arts dojo with a ring in it that is much like the one that they have the Huki Lao, and we're going to have fight nights there. And that's where some local competitors, one of our painters, Pride of America Painting, that does some work here. His son is an MMA fighter, and he's going to train here too. So that's after we finish the first 45. That's on phase, I would say, 3. The next 2 years, we're going to focus on these 4 buildings right here, and it's roughly a $6 million project.
Okay.
We've received funding, $2 million funding
Right.
from the Department of Economic Development. So we're going to need another round of funding to complete those buildings. But they want to see us get these done
Sure.
and be successful with this, and then,
Sure.
then I'm sure we'll be
Okay.
granted the rest of the.
So it's roughly, if I'm listening right, 3 phases.
Yes.
And what is the vision, if all goes according to plan? When will this whole complex be humming?
My vision is to have this done in 5 years. I'm prepared and willing to, if it takes 10 years, I'm committed, obviously, so
Right.
if for some reason it takes longer, great. If we can get it done quicker, excellent. A lot of it's going to be the funding, so we're going to make sure that we have that lined up.
Yep. So how has the journey been from a practical standpoint? What kinds of obstacles have you faced? What kinds of hoops have you had to jump through to actually make the progress that you've been making on this building?
Well,
what are some of the biggest challenges?
The first thing that comes to mind is every single building on the complex was literally waist deep with refuse left behind from former tenants or stuff that was just stored here, and
because as I
just
mentioned, the
cleaning it
mill
out.
was closed 63 years ago. So
It was. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you there was over 200 30-yard dumpsters of just garbage that was left behind here. The cleanup on this property, the local contractors thought this was the dump, and they were driving around back and dumping. They were abandoning cars, trailers, tires. The very first week we were here, when I had the 27 people working around 2 shifts around the clock here cleaning this mess up, we had guys in the river. We owned to the other side of the riverbank, walking up the river, pulling out shopping carts and bicycles and a lot of drug paraphernalia and booze bottles, and we just cleaned up the entire 11 acres. That was job one, and then cutting the trees down. You couldn't even get into the buildings because 20 years of trees had grown up literally out of the foundations of every building. It was abandoned for a while. So just getting it to not look like an Amazon abandoned jungle village was a big part of the first challenge.
So people that may know West Main Street here in Rockville, there are a couple beautifully restored mills right up the street.
Absolutely, yeah.
I didn't realize that the property here goes across the street.
Yes.
There's a parking lot across the street, which is part of your property, and then there's the river.
Yeah, in fact, we own to the other side of the river and the water rights for the river, which might come in handy. And it's a little over 1.5 acres from the new bridge they just installed up to the other bridge there. And interestingly enough, kind of on the same topic, is I purchased the house. It's called the Bixby House up on the. I'm pointing up there because you can see it's up on the hill. It's 1.5 acres, and the reason I bought that is part of the original mill complex. And it's a. Hopefully you can see it. If you can pan in, you can see the barn. It's a beautiful Roman style classic house, which is in the Roman cross. It's in the shape of a Roman cross, and it has 7 bedrooms. And the main thing is it's part of the original mill, where the mill owner had the mill manager live in there. So ultimately, once we get that restored, that's my goal is to have people that work here living there.
So Ken, you have something about the Hockanum River here. I mean, your store in Manchester is right near the Hockanum River.
The Hockanum,
and this is on the Hockanum River.
Absolutely, yes.
Boy, you have quite a connection there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wow. So, what other challenges have there been? The place was a mess. You had to clean it out. What other obstacles have you had to get through to get to where you are today?
Well, of course, there's the environmental part. We've been working closely with the Department of Environmental Protection and the state.
Was there a lot of remediation that was necessary?
There was a lot, and there is a lot still to come. The property obviously had lead paint on it, and there was some asbestos. And there were underground oil tanks that we had removed. And there's underground oil tanks that were removed possibly inappropriately, and we have it's a 3-phase process. Phase 1 is the analysis. Phase 2 is coming up with the plan and doing testing. They drilled, I think, 17 wells on the site to check the groundwater table. So we're through Phase 2, and we're developing what's called a remedial action plan for Phase 3, which is ultimately the cleanup of the site. So we're doing that hand in hand with the rebuilding of the property and making it habitable.
And sometimes people can get frustrated because they see these old mills and they just sit year after year and they go, for crying out loud, nothing's going on. But the reality is there's so much remediation with pollution.
It's a lot of work. I mean, this building we're in right now, this building I could have built this building for probably
Right.
brand new for a third less than it cost me to restore
Right.
this building, and that's why people don't do it. And it
Right.
has to be a labor of love. You
Right.
have to be committed,
We're
passionate about
we're
it.
paying for the sins of our fathers. You know,
That's
they
a good way to
polluted the
put it.
daylights out of it, and now we have to clean it up before we can do anything with it.
I have before pictures of this building that if you'd like to show them, I can give them to you for this video, and it's astounding what it looked like. It was bombed in World War II, lit on fire, and then left abandoned for homeless
Right.
people and vagrants to tag it. There was graffiti all over it.
Right.
Every window was bashed out or
Right.
damaged.
Sure.
And there was almost a presence of evil here. There were 666 symbols and
Yep.
SWAT stickers, and
Yep.
that someone had tagged congratulations to the Boston massacre thing
Right.
that happened. I mean, there was some sick people that were hanging out here.
Right.
The police department, the town of Vernon, the fire department, they've all been awesome in helping us
Cool.
clean up. We haven't had any issues, not a single issue with vandalism or theft since we've taken the place over.
Cool.
And, you know, basically it was once the people in the area know that
Right.
someone cares about it,
Right.
they stop damaging it. But
Right.
and it wasn't just that type, it was also the contractors that were dumping
Right.
for years stumps and
Right.
garbage and leaves, and
Right.
they were just driving their pickup trucks around back and dumping it. There was a major cleanup. If
Right.
I didn't own all the heavy equipment,
Right.
just the cleanup alone,
Right.
the outside cleanup would have cost probably
Sure.
$500,000.
Sure.
That's the God's honest truth.
Now, what about the neighbors? What kind of feedback are you getting?
Oh, nothing but positive feedback. Not a day goes by that someone doesn't thank me for the people of Rockville should be really grateful for what we're doing, and they are. They're and people that own homes in this area.
Right.
This was a major eyesore and
Sure.
a magnet for
Trouble.
negativity and trouble. So, and we're going to turn it into a shining beacon of the
Right.
area. So that's our goal. So.
Right. Very cool. So, meanwhile, I understand part of the story here too is that you've employed a lot of local people. You have a nucleus of about 20 people. I understand you have quite a gifted mason.
Yes, I do. Yes, Dolores.
Yes.
Dolores is the first black woman mason in, I think, the entire country. She's I never like to tell a woman's age, but she's over 60. Okay, and she started when she was 18. Give you an idea of her, and she has her and her team. She's one of the hardest workers I have here.
Wow.
Never judge a book by the cover. She is an amazing mason, and we had 3 crews of masons here before her that we weeded out, and I heard about her. The president of Gerber, when she worked on their project, the president of Gerber said, if I had 10 people that worked as hard as you do, I could shut down this entire team of 100. And he was serious, you know. So she resurfaced this entire building. When I say the entire building, I mean this is a concrete poured in place. This is 16-inch concrete walls, floors, ceiling, foundation. The entire building, outside and inside, has been reparged by her. And I've pulled up here and seen her outside in the rain working, reparging the building in the freezing cold. She is an amazing mason, and carrying 5-gallon buckets full of sand, which I don't know what they weigh, but I'm 240 pounds. I work out every day, and they're not easy to carry.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
she's amazing, and her team is awesome also.
Wow. So how have you found people, and are you hiring? And if you're hiring, how do people contact you to interview?
Well, not a day has gone by, especially the first couple of months we were here, that a half a dozen people didn't walk on the site just looking for work. There's a lot of unemployment in the construction industry right now, a lot of qualified people. Matter of fact, all 20 people that are full-time on our staff now were unemployed before they came aboard here, or underemployed.
Okay.
So in any event, we've been through over 60 people in the 9 months that we've been here.
Okay.
How did that happen? How did we go through 60 and up with 20? I've been in business a long time. I'm a quick study, and I know who's going to make it and not make it.
Right.
So we've given a lot of people opportunities that were not qualified, or they were qualified but just couldn't cut the mustard.
Right.
But the team that I have now here, they're 20. They're all ninjas. They're all top shelf at what they do, and they're hard workers. I mean, I thanked them all this morning for. This has been a hard job here. They've been working all winter in no heat in a lot of the buildings, working on underground pipes and sewers.
It's been a frigid winter.
It's been cold, and they're hats off to the team here, and no doubt.
Wow. If someone were interested in being part of the team, are there opportunities, or do you think there might be opportunities down the pike as you continue your journey?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're looking for a couple of master carpenters to help rebuild the original windows, and we're looking for electricians and also laborers, skilled laborers.
Okay.
So yeah, we definitely have opportunities here, and love to talk to anybody who's interested in getting involved. And as a side note, if you own a small business and you're thinking of an area or a town to open a business, the town of Vernon, from the mayor, the town council, the fire department, the police department, even the residents in the area, have really made it an easy decision for me to come here. They you know, I feel like they're part of my team, not working against me.
Right.
Especially you know, Sean Gately at the DECD. He's been awesome. He's worked tirelessly to make this a possible this venture to be possible. So I'm really grateful to Sean and his team.
Cool. You know, it's so important to have a team, and you couldn't possibly pull this off yourself.
Oh my God,
you
no.
could spend 25 lifetimes and not do it. So
this is the God's honest. This is the truth. Last year, I took a 3-day vacation, and I took Christmas off and one sick day. I had 5 days off the entire year. I worked Sundays. I worked many days from 5 in the morning to midnight here, and many 18-hour days. And it's a lot of hard work, and there's no way I could do it. A lot of times I can't even be here on the site because there's a mountain of paperwork with the Department of Economic Development and the you know, the purchase requisitions and the environmental paperwork is a lot that I have to do administratively. So thank God I have Pete Lofstrom and LaShawn and the whole crew here. If I forgot any names, I'm sorry, but I'm on the spot. But no, the team that here makes it possible. I don't have to look over their back and make sure they're working. They all hustle. So without the team here, without the town, without the state funding this, giving us the loan, I wish it was a grant, but it's not. I have to pay it back. So without everybody pitching in, this would be impossible. I can't do this alone. You know? And also we need you know, the grace of God to make this happen. This is quite a feat here, and with His blessing, we can make it happen.
Yep. And I understand that you've had some support from the local churches.
Oh, yes.
They've been praying for you. And they've
amazingly
been rooting
enough,
for you.
The local Ghana Christian Church, one of the first people I met when I was here, his name is Watch. He's become a very close friend of mine. His family and I have been out to dinner. They've been over our house, and we've been to different social events. And he introduced me to his pastor, who ended up working here. And then Watch's wife subsequently became a pastor. So we've had 2 pastors working here on the job, which has been quite needed.
Almost like having a company chaplain.
We start with morning prayer quite often, and that's been helpful. You know, sometimes I feel like it's a wing and a prayer with a project this big, so definitely it helps to have some people at high places pulling for us.
Well, Ken, as we wrap up, if someone wanted to reach out to you, how should they contact you?
Well, interestingly enough, if you turn the camera around, you might see there's a 4-foot by 8-foot Rockville construction sign on the roadway right there, and it has my phone number in it, about that long. It's,
and what is the phone number?
916-9784.
Could you repeat that?
It's 860-916-9784. You can call me anytime, 24/7. I do sleep from about midnight to 4 a.m., so I'll have to call you back after that. But 365 days a year it's on. So
great. Well, thanks for watching, and visit our website, TollandCountyEconomy.com. That's TollandCountyEconomy.com, and we'll see you next week. We have a series here that's being taped right here on site at the Hockenham Mills, so I think you'll enjoy next week's show.